Congratulations to our first ever Canadian Survivor winner, Erica Kasupanen, however you say her name.
Is she only the second Asian Survivor winner?
That's crazy. Who's the first?
Yule.
Yule. That's it can't be. Is it?
I can't think of another.
Let's go through it. This is something I wanted to do. No, this is something I wanted to do. I want to. This might be the best final three ever. I want to go through the seasons and think what was better. So 40, you remember, like, let's just go like just back. So 40, somebody was there who got voted out, right? Natalie spent the whole season on Redemption Island or whatever.
Natalie
Whatever.
Anderson.
Yeah, it was like it
She's in
was
the final three of Survivor 40.
it was her and Michelle and Tony.
God, I don't
And it was
remember that.
because she came
Who's
in.
Michelle? Oh,
Michelle
Michelle.
Fitzgerald.
Right, right.
She's killing it. She's been on the challenge like four
I know,
seasons
I
in a row
know.
now. She's dating Devin. You know that?
Oh
You haven't
God.
seen the new seasons, maybe, where she's dating Devin.
Ugh.
She's dating Devin. Anyway,
Something gross about that.
39. I don't even remember. There's no way it's better. 38, same thing. 37, that was the one with Mike White and Angelina. That's not better than this. And Nick Wilson. It's not
Well, I
better.
hate Nick Wilson, but the other two are good.
Angelina was not better than any of these three players here. You-
You can't hype this that much. They didn't play the game.
What are we talking about then? We're just talking about like a new show where it's not a game?
Yes, yeah, we'll rank this in accordance with the rest of the winners. We dropped the four and kept the one. There's only
Damn.
been one season of this show.
I want to be positive, and my big takeaway at the end was, wow, what a great final three.
I
And then I was
agree. It's a
thinking,
good final three. Survivor was blessed to have a great final two in its original run with Richard Hatch and Kelly Wigglesworth and a great jury segment. All right. So they've succeeded. They've started a new show, and the final three that they came out with is very good.
okay, so that's how you're thinking about it.
Yes.
You dropped the four and kept the one.
I have to for my own sanity. All right.
Okay.
Because if I'm not doing that, this is the worst final three ever. Because
No.
they only played 12 days. 12 gays. There were like 12 gays this season.
All right, well, that's one way to think about it. That's fine. Um, I sort of went ahead and made the list of the ones I thought were better, and the only ones with a final three you could argue either are heroes versus villains, Russell, Parvati, Sandra, and then China, Todd, Amanda, and Courtney. Those are the only two
Mm.
final threes I could think of that it could rival these. And then the final twos that where both the players are really good. I thought Micronesia, Tocantins. I think Palau. I think Katie is underrated
I agree.
in Palau, and All Stars
She
just for the
got
total
Katie
dominance.
got fucking Ian to throw his whole
Exactly.
fucking
That's not
game
Tom.
away.
That was Katie. He
Yeah,
loved Katie so much. I was really, and I sort of like fell in love with Katie when I was. There's something about Katie. I really
I
like
get it.
Katie.
I get it.
She's really cool. And All Stars just for the dominance. Like both of them get to the end. That's nuts. Um, but anyway, I was super impressed with these final three. I guess we will get to it. But yeah, you might be right. Yule and Erica. It's pretty sad. Maybe we'll get some more going in the future.
Well, I
42,
assume, yeah.
43,
I mean,
44.
the seasons are going to get more diverse going forward. Like in the past, there's been like one or zero that have an opportunity to win.
Yeah,
Yao
Cook
Man came
Islands
pretty close.
only had
Yeah,
one winner because like a portion of the cast was Asian.
right.
So they had a better opportunity.
Yeah, they had
That's
better
really
odds.
pathetic. That they should be
I know
embarrassed.
they
I
should be. All these shows fucking should be.
Yeah. So episode 12, we I thought this was hilarious. We opened up Heather's like I could be the oldest woman to ever win the show. I knew you'd love that. And I think she said didn't say oldest person because Bob would beat her. So she has to say oldest woman
Yeah,
because she
let's
beats
classify.
Tina, I believe. And then
Which,
but
speaking of diversity, can I just say one more thing?
hmm?
Because I just finished watching All Stars, um, and they have that chopping competition where it's like they had to fill out a form and they had questions and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was who does not deserve to be here. Okay. And Alicia won that. And I know what they're thinking. They're all thinking because she's black,
Mm.
because they needed a black person on the show. And she was the most
Damn.
memorable of the choices. In
Why
the
not
first 7
Vesapia?
seasons.
Vesapia's the winner.
Yeah, I know.
But
But
no
so,
black male?
but I mean,
No.
Amber is still there at that time. And look, I love Amber. I'm glad she won that season.
But also Rob.
But Rob,
He goes out at the merge.
but
in
he's so
Marquesas.
memorable. But hear me out.
He's the Mike Boogie of
Hear me out about Amber.
Yeah.
If either Colleen Haskell or Elizabeth Hasselbeck says yes to coming back that season, no way Amber's there.
That whole there's a lot of people in that cast though that I wouldn't have chosen.
But you weren't there, Logan. Like I remember how in the zeitgeist a lot of these people were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jervis probably should have been there.
Sean.
Yeah.
The black men.
Yeah.
I think Sean might be on 50. There's been a lot of talk about Sean.
I would love that. I saw he was hanging out with Rob recently.
I saw that too. That made me think he might be on 50. Like, why?
Mhm.
I mean, they're friends. Why wouldn't they hang out? But that made me really, and he looks awesome. He had like great style. I saw like a picture. I was like, whoa, Sean, he still looks awesome as hell. I would love that. He'd be high on my list if I was casting.
There's a subway stop in Brooklyn, Rector Street, and every time I would pass that stop, I would think of Sean Rector.
I pass a Taylor Street. Sometimes I think of Taylor Swift. I really do. I'm like, wow, Taylor Street.
That's hilarious.
I know. But Xander could be the youngest person ever to win. I think the other people can. Jenna, she was young. Fabio. And I think Adam Klein, I remember him being pretty young. But those two were 21. They were, and he's 20. I forget he's 20. That's nuts.
Yeah, Adam Klein probably shouldn't have been out there. He was a young person. He was fucking crying all the time.
His mom was dying.
Yeah, I know.
Which ironically, same with Jenna.
I remember that I was supposed to care about that.
You didn't?
No.
I remember
I tweeted something like enough with his fucking mom dying or whatever.
Oh.
And like some people came at me hard.
I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember standing in the living room during that finale reunion specifically, and he's telling us the story. Like he got home and he told his mom that he won, and then she died like right after.
And she was like, "Congratulations."
I love the Attack of the Clones stuff.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was doing.
Sorry to mock that. But I was weeping in my living room. I was just standing there, fucking crying in the living room, watching the Survivor finale. It was horrible. But no,
I was jeering. I was lying on my couch jeering.
What is jeering? Never heard that. You mean gearing? Does that mean shoving a gerbil up?
No, it means like talking shit. Although I like any reference to that.
right. Cheering. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
You jeer a lot.
You never heard in TV Guide. In the TV Guide, they used to have us. Yeah, it's like an old people thing. But like when I was a kid, TV Guide had a section cheers and jeers, and it was like these are the things we liked and disliked that were on TV the past week.
That's cute. Cheers and jeers. Oh, cheers! And I thought you said tears, like the things that made you cry, things that made you emotional.
Cheers.
There should be tears and cheers and jeers. The things that made you happy, things that made you cry, and things that made you want to kill yourself.
We weren't allowed to admit that we cried back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I get that. Danny started to bother me the last couple episodes. Everything's about football. Every possible thing is just relating back to football. And here was one.
I liked it though when he left and he said "Go Cowboys" and like winked at Deshaun. It reminded me of that commercial where the football player like throws his game jersey at the kid and he walks. It's like a Coke jersey commercial.
I don't know that, but
I can imagine.
They're
in like the tunnel after the game, and he's like, oh, the kid's like, wow, you're Emmett Smith or whatever. And Emmett Smith turns around, throws his jersey at him. It's like, thanks, kid. And he opens up a Coke. And
Danny was
that's what it
opening up the
reminded me of. Yeah.
Thanks, Deshaun. I'll stick the shit on the flip side.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that was a weird moment. And here he has a confessional. He says, not voting out Ricard was like choosing to play kickball rather than taking down the Tom Brady dynasty. What the fuck does that mean?
I have no idea.
What are you talking about, Danny? But Heather, she's glad she's on the season because she's learning a lot about race. I'm glad I'm on this season.
Can we skip this? The first 10 that was a horrible tribal council last week, and then the first 10 minutes of the next episode was all about that too, and it was insufferable.
Competition for chicken and veggies or candy? What would you choose?
I might go.
You gotta go chicken and veggies. You're at the end. You need fuel to win the
crave candy though sometimes.
Put $1 million, you can buy all the candy you want. You have a 1 in 6 shot to win the game.
I remember when I first got sober, I did nothing but eat candy. Like there's something about like the sugar and candy that like gives you what your body
and it keeps you busy. You can just do it all day long.
Yeah, it's true.
It's yeah, of course. But Deshaun complains. He says, "What? No letter from home, Jeff? What are you doing? This season sucks." And Jeff's like, "Wow, Deshaun, you're an asshole.
Why do you need a letter from home? You can't not talk to your mommy for 2 weeks?"
Yeah, exactly. I think that is why they don't do it. I don't think they do it at all the next few seasons. Good. No letter from home, no loved ones visits. That's not a part of the show anymore. There's a moment where Danny walks off and Ricard thinks he might have found an idol.
Yeah.
Right. I thought he should have done the Rupert thing, like put a rock in your pocket. And they're like, wow, he might have an idol. That was Rupert's shining moment, probably. That heroes versus villains moment, like final 7. I think that's when they take Colby out instead of Rupert.
They're like, what about when he built that shelter underground?
That's good. No, he's had a few good moments. Who the hell voted for me?
No, you know what his shining moment is, really?
What?
When he finds the spear.
Oh.
No, remember Sean loses the fishing spear just like randomly in the middle of the fucking ocean, and Rupert finds it.
Yeah, how the hell did he do that? Our production gave it to him.
Bullshit.
That's a conspiracy that I'm floating out there. What about Balboa? He's had so many good moments, Rupert.
I always think he gets too much credit for Balboa. It died like instantly.
But he takes it to the challenge
take very
when it's dead and makes it like a whole big deal, you know?
He didn't take it to the challenge when it's dead. He took it when it was alive. Yeah.
I thought when it was dead. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. But
just walking in with a dead snake.
I thought for some reason he did that. How did it die?
It like suffocated overnight. He fucking didn't take care of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. He killed it. He's responsible for that.
Yes.
Damn. Deshaun. Oh, I like this part. He's like talking to Erica, like he's trying to get her to say she wants Heather out because they played the same game, so he can then go back to Heather and be like, Erica wants you out. And then he tries to do it at Tribal Council, but it didn't really do anything. I had a great joke here. It's the Ricard immunity challenge. Do you like the way I don't like put effort into trying making things seem natural? I just say when I have a great joke coming up. Should I not do that anymore?
You should probably just say the joke.
Just say the joke instead of being like, all right, guys, great joke planned coming up. But it's an immunity challenge. And the phrase was, don't make this next vote your last. So my joke was, did Sean Baker make this challenge? Because all these are 4-letter words.
Oh my God. Nobody even knows that movie.
No. That's why I had to say it as a joke. Because people might not even know.
Great.
Danny says that he's in the NFL. Very exciting moment. We go to Tribal Council. Danny and Deshaun fucked this up, by the way. They each vote for each other, which it's hard to not trust, or it's hard to trust the other person, I guess. But if they both vote for Xander, it's a 2-2-2 tie. And then they can all vote out Xander with his idol.
Oh, holy shit.
Instead, they vote for each other, and it's a 3v3 vote.
Yeah.
And then they vote out Danny.
That's a good call.
But really, they fuck up here. Yeah. If everyone else actually votes out Xander on the revote. But they could have tied it up and seed. Like, but it's hard to trust.
And Seed.
Scene that was a bull. That was just me being stupid. Seed, damn. But it's hard to trust. You have to go in just hoping that other person doesn't vote for you. Because if you vote for Xander and they vote for you, you go home. You have to trust them. But it's Danny and Deshaun. You'd think they could trust each other. I didn't understand that. Anyway, next challenge. Oh, next we go to a new island. Did you like this? For like the final 5, we go to a brand new island. Did you even notice this? Okay.
No, I did at the time, but
I thought you'd maybe like it because you like when they suffer.
Well, I do.
Okay.
But it's like it just never feels far away from the end. Like you finished 7 days, like you've done in like 10 days.
I mean, the whole thing is 26 days. Yeah, even if you win the whole thing. Yeah, that's like making it like 9th place on the typical season.
Right.
But I thought Xander was really doing his Russell impression. He was like, I know we're out in the rain, but I want everyone to suffer because I do better in the rain and everyone else is suffering. That's like Russell's whole thing in Samoa. I remember that being a really rainy season. Remember Eric Cardona?
The socks.
It burns the sock. Eric Cardona sleeps like in a tree because the rain is so bad. Erica wins an advantage for the next immunity challenge.
Wow, what if her last name was Urdona?
Erica Urdona.
Eric Cardona.
That would be a great name. Danny sort of pulled the Eric Cardona thing where he was like, wow, Natalie, you're not going to get a lot of credit for the game you played, but you kicked ass. Like Russell was out in front, but you were way better than them. He did that with Erica. Like, Erica, you're not going to get the credit, but I saw what you were doing.
He was wrong, though. Everyone else saw what she was doing, too.
Except him. He voted for Deshaun. He's the one person who didn't vote for Erica. But I think that was his way of saying, like, I'm not voting for you, but I tip my cap, you know? I think that was his way of doing that. But so Erica wins on advantage, and then she uses that to win the immunity and reward.
Yeah, great.
This is where Ricard reveals he already has a baby. He was like trying to get pregnant, but he already has a baby coming out like next month or in a week or something.
Yeah, his husband's pregnant.
Yeah, but his story out there was that they were trying to get pregnant in the future, not that they already had one coming up. You know, that was a surprise. And I thought Xander had like a bad job where he like
did the baby come out of his husband's dick?
Yeah, that's how it happens.
That's how that works.
Yeah, you go to the bathroom.
It climbs through the urethra.
No, you pee it out.
How does that work?
You go like you're normally peeing, except instead of this time pee coming out, it's a baby.
It comes out like fully formed though, like like I feel like that would clog you up, man. It would hurt.
You'd think the same for women. Just
all right. I would argue that now men are better than women because
only a few of them though.
Because we used to say like women, like the one thing they have over men is we can't give birth, and we'd find it impossible to. Like that's an amazing thing that women can do. But if men now are just shooting babies out of their dicks, then I think we got it, man.
Me and you and I are not better than women, but Ricard's husband is. I think you can say that.
Okay.
Okay. So I like Xander, his confessional. He was like doing a rocker, like, hello, Fiji, are you ready to rock? I enjoyed that bit. Xander's so funny. I don't know what it is about him.
He's great. I love Xander.
Yeah. And he wins the final immunity where you have to walk back and like balance the stuff. Final 4 is what it is. So shout out to Xander. He cries, big moment. He thought he was going to win the game.
It's really sweet.
He thought he was winning the game, though. He was like, I won the game in this moment. He's so much like Russell, actually.
I mean, in terms of that, but
and this final thing where he was like, I want everyone to suffer. I do best in the rain.
But his moment with Jeff here is really cute when he's like, can I give you a hug? And Jeff's like, of course.
Yeah. I think Jeff really likes Xander.
Me too. I find Jeff completely insufferable, but He can still do a good moment like that. I was really thinking about it watching the show. The worst thing Survivor ever did, the downfall of Survivor, was making Jeff a producer.
Wow. I feel like that happens like earlier than we think, though.
I it
Is it
happens
like
in the
Heroes Villains?
20s. It happens, no, it's after that, but it's in the
Okay.
20s somewhere. I would say losing Jeff as host versus gaining Jeff as a producer, you're getting more bullshit with him as a producer than positives or than negatives losing him as a host.
All right. So Xander, whatever he wins, he decides I'm gonna take Erica to the finals because she's uh it's good thinking. He thinks Erica is gonna win the fire, and that'll be an extra notch in her belt. But then he sees she sucks at fire. But then I don't know why he doesn't go against her, but he decides not to. So
Mm.
it's Deshaun versus Heather. It's very close. Deshaun wins. I thought there was a very funny moment where we learned a few weeks ago Ricard is deaf in his right ear. It was his right ear. I remember a shot where the camera was like right on his right ear when he's at camp. And you're supposed
Oh
to be like,
yeah,
wow,
I
that's his
was
deaf ear.
skeptical of this.
You were skeptical, but I think it's real because there's a moment where Danny is sitting behind Ricard on the bench and he's like, Deshaun's kindling. He really messed it up. And he's whispering in Ricard's right ear, and there's no reaction from Ricard. Ricard does not
Interesting.
hear what Danny is saying. It was very funny.
I still hate this.
What, fire making?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. But it was intense. It's probably one of the closer ones.
I tune it out. I'm like,
You can't do that. You gotta
I'm just sort of
get
watching
what
it.
it
It's
is.
like, tell me who makes it to final three. I don't care.
All right. Well, it was close. It was of all the ones, it was a pretty good one. But shout out to Deshaun. If we get to final tribal council, I didn't understand this either. Danny, he's like, football, there's quarters, so we have to split it into three quarters. Three quarters? What? I thought there were four quarters. But he says we're gonna do pre-merge, post-merge, final eight.
Yeah, it's like a
What are you talking?
hockey. The
Yeah, that's
hockey
hockey.
game has
Those are
three
periods,
periods.
also. You don't
Yeah,
call them quarters. There are four quarters, Danny. But he was just trying to make football references.
I know.
Did you have anything from Final Tribal Council?
I like the new format.
You have to
Uh,
explain it to me.
I'm skeptic. Just the idea that it's not just like that guy asks a question, then that guy asks a question, then that guy. We go one by one through the
Well,
jury.
in the 30s, they switched it where it was this format: outwit, outplay, outlast, where Jeff would be like, in the outwit portion, it's all about tricking your contestants. So ask them questions about outwit. And that's how it
Right.
was for like 35 to 39, and it sucked.
I don't remember that, but I I just like that it was sort of an open conversation between
Yeah.
the jury and the final three. I thought that brought out a lot of interesting stuff.
I like it too. But you don't get that moment where Sue Hawk stands up
I know.
and she's like, you're a snake and you're a
And
rat.
here's another thing. If it's an open conversation, there's a greater chance of there being like some sort of consensus among the jury. Whereas if
That's
everyone
not
is
good though.
is no, I'm saying that's the one thing I don't like about it. If you're locked into just like the one thing you have to do, then you form your own opinion.
Right, of course. I, also, I don't know. I don't think anyone would do the snakes and rats thing today. People care too much about how they look.
Oh yeah, I know.
I think the last remember Reed uh it was Reed, right? Did it to Missy. He was like, "You're the evil stepmom," he called her at the final
Yeah,
tribal council. That was, I feel like, the last one somebody really went in on somebody. That won't
right.
happen.
Or like Brenda and
Oh, take your teeth out.
yeah,
Yeah,
what's her
that was
name?
crazy. Dawn?
Dawn,
Dawn. Key. Anyway.
right?
I thought Liana sucked. Liana had a horrible moment at this final tribal council where she's like, Xander, I displayed moments throughout the entire season where I was aware of stuff socially. I had all these connections. I knew that you had the idol. What were you aware of? And and he does a horrible job too, firing back instead of him saying, which he should have said, I was aware of the fact you were going to try to take my idol. so I gave it to Tiffany, and we tricked you in that moment. Like that's what he should have said, and like shut her ass down. Like quit trying to embarrass me. You sucked in that moment. Instead, he like, I can't think of anything like. But she was just trying to be like a gotcha moment there. But that sucks from Liana. But anyway, and I thought it was so easy for Shan to sit there and be like, I would have gone down for the alliance. Like Deshaun, what you did to Liana and me was not cool. I would have gone down for the all black alliance. It's easy, so easy for her to say that sitting on the jury.
I did think though that it was fair to bring up, like, make Deshaun answer that question though. And I thought Deshaun did a good job, and I thought Shan was satisfied with the answer. So it didn't bother me that much.
But it's a little on your high horse. If she's in the final three, like I think she would have cut them at a certain point if she had.
Oh, I completely agree. I think she's a hypocrite, but I think it's fair play to ask that question in the final tribal.
I think not. When you would have done the same thing, I don't know, but it's fine. And I thought Liana had a good comeback at the end where she says, "Xander, I have one more question for you. Do you have an idol?" I like that.
That's good. Funny. Yeah. Liana, I thought it was a little silly when she was like, "The best moment for me is when I fucked that up."
She loved that part.
She said, I was able, like, not that I fucked it up, but that my reaction to it, I handled it really well. And everyone's like, yeah, you handled it great. Everyone's like giving her props, but whatever. She's like, she's clearly still embarrassed about it and trying to make herself.
That's the people that are like, I didn't win the game, but like I won personally. Like I never really like those things. I like when people grow, but when they're trying to like take away from the winner and like put, I won too. It's like, no, you didn't win. Anyway, they vote. Erica wins. It's only Danny that doesn't vote for her. And we do a live reunion there.
I thought you said, oh, never mind.
Jeff, he likes how raw it is. We don't get this rawness back at the Los Angeles reunion.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting idea. Because it is raw. Like, you're definitely, they're talking very openly and honestly, but I also think they haven't processed it yet. Yeah, and
exactly.
The most interesting thing about it to me was to see Xander and Deshaun right after losing, having to participate.
But they had no energy for it. Deshaun was so sad.
Xander perked up a little bit and it was positive about it, but Deshaun was miserable.
I think he thought he was probably going to win. And there's sort of an argument for it. I think there's an argument for any of the final three. It's sort of weird. Like looking at it from like the final 6 or 7, you'd think Xander is like the biggest threat. And then he makes it all the way and he gets no votes. I think everyone just saw him as having no agency in the game.
I wasn't sure he would get votes, honestly. I thought it was between Deshaun and Erica. I thought Deshaun would get more votes. I think Erica, the final tribal, really swayed her. They were having that whole conversation. There's one moment where Danny says to Erica, you played the game I wanted to play. Mm-hmm. And almost everyone on the jury responds like, oh, me too. Yeah. And I think they all in that moment realize, like, yeah, she nailed it.
I think that you're right about that. I thought Nasir might have voted for Xander. Felt like they were close. And when they got to the merge, they were like, we're the two like challenge guys. We had to say that stupid phrase in front of everybody together.
Yeah.
We're gonna connect. And then he voted for her. I feel like we didn't see him talk to Erica too much.
I'm more slippery than a goat on AstroTurf.
I liked him explaining that. Like I had to like first remember what words I had to say.
Was that good accent work by me?
Nope, it was very offensive.
Yeah, I thought so too, in hindsight.
But I liked that insight. It was like I didn't even know the words really, so I had to first memorize that, and then I had to like get to the challenge and have to like really put it together. That was probably really hard for him.
Yeah,
it was like a weird phrase for a normal an English, if English is your first language.
Yeah. What were the other butterflies? Like dead relatives
saying hi.
Saying hi. And broccoli are like little trees.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So trippy,
What are we gonna get
bro.
next season? Did you see the preview? There's gonna be more.
It was so funny. They're like, next after the commercial break, we're gonna see where Survivor. They used to say where Survivor is going next, but they don't
Mm.
go anywhere anymore. So they're like, we're just gonna see what the new season of Survivor is like. And then Jeff goes, next season on Survivor, we're doing it again.
Oh man.
It was like there was nothing. It's just like we're gonna get more people, and they're gonna do this again. There's nothing to preview anymore.
Well, the cast, you get to show the new faces. Any new faces you're excited for?
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice anyone?
No.
That's crazy. I remembered there was like a few weeks ago, I think you mentioned there was someone named Zach. And I was like, who the fuck is Zach? I didn't remember who Zach was. And then the preview, I was like, oh, that's who Zach was. So I remembered who this character Zach is. So that's cool. I don't love next season. I remember, I feel like.
Great.
Not the greatest cast. There were people I was like, you were on Survivor. I'm not kidding. There were like six faces. I was like, I've not seen you before. But anyway, let's hope that gets you excited. That's it.
Any updates you have for me on these people?
Uh, kind of don't think so. Danny
Xander's dated
Tyson.
Andrea Belke, right?
Xander dated Andrea. Danny's close with Tyson. He was
Right.
on recently. Maybe you should listen to that now. Now that you know he didn't. I didn't want you to listen previously because they might say like, well, when I got sixth place on Survivor 41 or fifth place, whatever. But they talked about like the upcoming 50 voting. It might be old news now, but oh, Erica was on the Traders Canada.
Really?
Yeah, she was first one out.
Oh, right, because she's Canadian.
Spoiler alert. Yeah,
she was the first one out.
That because she was there as like the Survivor winner.
Wow,
and I think they were
Johnny
like,
Bananas.
They were like, well, let's just kick. But she wasn't murdered. That she was. Oh wait, was she murdered? I think she was banished. I don't remember what happened actually. She was murdered or banished. Anyway, I'm number one Traders fan of all time, but I don't remember that. Anyway, we'll be back next time. We're doing the 42 premiere. That's it next time.
Drop the 4, keep the 2.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll see how many Jewish contestants there are. Any guess? Prediction?
I would say 1.
All right. How many white contestants?
I'm gonna say 4.
How many black contestants?
7.
Asian contestants?
3.
Gay contestants?
14.
14. Straight contestants?
1/2. There's one bisexual contestant.
Oh, that'd be good. One bi, everyone else is gay. But what happened? But the bi person's married, and and everyone else is gay.
Yeah,
I don't think that would affect anything.
Married to a pregnant man.
Right. Now we're just doing like, are you the one casting styles? All right. We'll be back next time for the 42 premiere.